Welcome to Balance, the show encouraging moms to shed the guilt and create their own balance to work motherhood and not have motherhood work them. It's now time to create a new mindset, and for the time we have together, I hope to help you do just that. Hey, Nikita, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's such a pleasure to have you to wrap up Autism Awareness Month. And even though it's the end of the month, like I always say, it's something that we should take care of all throughout the year. So I don't want people to think that it's just limited just to April.
Exactly.
So my first question to you is, I want to start on a bright note. What is the best part about being a mom to Sneak? I mean, I know you have 4 kids in total, right?
Right. And so Sneak is my only child with a special need. And the best part of being her mom is really the fact that she gives me a different experience. So with our neurotypical children, I have the standard mothering experience. And with her, things have just shifted a bit. So and it's always a learning experience. Every day, she's the child that teaches me something new. I'm always learning from all of my children, but in particular with her, because of whether it's a communication barrier or something with schooling or therapy or whatever the case is, every day is a new learning experience with her. And the learning experiences are not always challenging. They're fun sometimes. Sometimes I chuckle because I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's acting like a typical 14-year-old girl right now. Like she's giving me attitude. And I think that a lot of people think that having special need means that you don't have anything else going on that a typical person at that age would, but she does. So
And
she gives me a lot of fun in the learning experience every day.
I love that. And the reason I started off with that is because exactly like you said, I think people believe that when you hear the word autism, has special needs, that the world, but you're proving to us that it's certainly not. So if you could just talk about some of the misconceptions that we see with the diagnosis.
Sure. So I'm going to speak on children with nonverbal autism, which is what my child has.
Mhm.
People tend to think that because she is not speaking, she does not enter a room and say, "Hi, everyone," like her siblings, or like her mom does. People assume that because she doesn't speak, that she doesn't understand. So they tend to not engage her.
Mm.
And anytime I work with a new therapist for her, or I'm introducing her to a new aftercare program or whatever, I always stress she is not deaf. She just cannot express, she does not have expressive language, but she can understand everything that you're saying. So she understands tone, she understands attitude, she understands the mood toward you. She's also pretty funny. So again, people think autism, oh my gosh, that's all that she has. This is all that this child is about. My daughter is shady. She's funny. Um, she's a fun girl. And so when people see her do little things, like if I say, don't get any more of that drink, and she'll take the cup and look at me, and I'll say, don't do it. And then she'll go and run. People are like, oh my gosh, did she do that on purpose? And I'm like, yeah, she's shady. Like that's, so that big personality that she has, they tend to say, "Oh wow, I didn't think that she would act like that." Well, yeah, she's not. Autism is not the only thing going on with her. Like she's still a shady, funny 14-year-old girl who will be 15 in a few days, and people tend to overlook that. And the other thing that the biggest misconception that I find for her is that life is sad for us. And when people say, oh my gosh, if I say, oh, I have a daughter with autism, oh, I am so sorry. I appreciate the sentiment. I understand that it's coming from a good place, but our life isn't sad. We're not, and now we have very sad days sometimes. This is a fact, but our life isn't sad for us. We have our groove. We work with her diligently to get her to where she can be the best version of herself that she can. But we don't have a sad life. So those are the two, at least for me personally, the two biggest misconceptions about nonverbal autism that we encounter.
No, I love that you explain her personality like that. I think it's great. I mean, even on Instagram, you're not shy with sharing some of her personality with us. When you showed her in the car, one of your last posts, it was her in the car singing with you, right? Just being
Yeah,
able to finally step out and get some air, you know. And I just see the joy in her face. I don't know what was playing on the radio, but she was just singing, having a good
yeah. So that's another. So one thing that you just reminded me of, another misconception. She's very musical. If she hears a song, she will hum it for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week. She has certain songs she really likes that she hums all the time, and because she's nonverbal, what she does is she verbalizes, even though it's not words. She's always humming. She's singing a tune. She's saying da 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 do do do. Like that's we hear that all the time, except for when she's asleep. She loves the Hamilton soundtrack. So when we go on our car rides, I put on Hamilton and she's da 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 da, like she's humming along. So again, people say, wait, she sings? How does she sing but she doesn't speak? Well, we can't explain that. This is God's thing. You know what I mean? Like I cannot explain how her mind works. I cannot explain why she can hum the entire Purple Rain song, the extended version, but she can't tell me that she wants something to eat or drink. But this is just who she is, and that's just what it is.
No, and it's, I mean, when you think about it, like you said, they're amazing qualities, you know. So I just love that you're able to make sure that we see that light that she's bringing into your family. So just talk about what is it like a day in a life, you know, especially with this pandemic that's going on. How difficult has it been? I mean, because it's been difficult for all of us to, but how difficult has it been for you to adjust to this new normal, especially when she's used to a specific routine?
So for us, it's been pretty difficult. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I have a daily schedule written on our chalkboard wall
Mhm.
because I need it for my sanity. But I have three girls here. So two are neurotypical. I actually took them out of school before the governor decided to close schools because I, I mean, just to be quite frank, if my child goes to the hospital, I'm going to the hospital. If she has this, catches this virus, I'm catching it because I'm going to be in a hospital with her. You know what I mean? Like this isn't, we don't take this lightly. So on March 13th, I said, yeah, you girls are not going back to school. I don't care when the governor announces it. I'm keeping you home and we'll just deal with the consequences. And then that following day, that's when they decided to close schools down indefinitely. And so my daughter's services are hands-on in the classroom. She does a lot of things in the community. So they take her out to stores and they take her to the mall and restaurants, and she learns how it's life skills, right? So she learns how to pay for her food, how to choose from a menu. Because she's nonverbal, she has a speech device that she uses out in the community. So these are things that, you know, in the classroom, they're cooking and they're teaching, they're learning patience and they're learning how to verbalize using their device what their needs are. So all of her learning is hands-on. Okay. So we take this strict, rigid routine, which people with autism do very well with, and then you flip it to, hi, you're home, and guess who your teacher is? Mommy, and guess who your speech and OT and gym teacher, and like, guess who that is? Mommy. So she lost that, and it was difficult the first couple of days. She just kind of, I tried to get her to the table, and this is before the school sent us a schedule. I said, okay, we're going to do, I incorporate wellness into our day. So it's not just academics, academics, academics. We
Yeah.
do yoga, African dance. Every day we're learning something new. We do chai tea. Like I want my kids to have mental wellness. The grades will come later, but I want them to be mentally well rested and just
Well,
they're at their, exactly. And so she was enjoying like the wellness activities and everything. But when it came to my communication with the school, and when they said, "Okay, we're going to do a Zoom meeting, and we're going to have her sit in front of the computer," she doesn't learn that way. So the first day, she looked at the computer and looked at me like, "I'm not doing this," and she walked away. The second day, down, and when she saw her teacher, now this is where another teaching moment for me. She saw the teacher and she kind of looked like, "Wait a minute." Oh, and so she sat for 30 minutes during her lesson.
wow.
We were all but it was something that was like we were grateful for. After school, she used to go to a camp for people with special needs. So while I was still at work, she would be at this camp where they would have Zumba and different activities and things. So she doesn't get that anymore. And I see it in her because I still have a 9 to 5. I'm at my desk working. The other girls are doing their work in their respective areas. And she's just kind of, if I have a conference call or something, I'm putting on something on this computer for her, a story to read while I'm doing this conference call. And then I have a packet that the teacher thankfully gave to me to help out because she knows that I'm a very hands-on mom. And she's like, look, I printed all this stuff out for you. You can work with her here. So that transition has been difficult, but we're making it work. We do know it's for the long run, so we do have our groove now. But those first couple of weeks were a little testy.
And what do you say? Because you're right. Because now, okay, so my kids also receive early intervention. So I have a
Mhm.
5-year-old and I have a 3-year-old, and now I have become like OT in speech and
Everything.
all of it, right? Now, I mean, my son has told me, "You are not my teacher," you know. So how do we adjust to this? You know, so how do you? What are you doing to encourage parents to let them know that? I mean, is it going to get better? Are the kids going to finally adjust to us as, their new teachers, as their new therapists? What advice do you have for the moms out there?
So my biggest key advice that I've been telling other parents lately is, guess what? You're not the teacher. You're not the speech therapist. You're not the occupational therapist. You are not the school psychologist. You are mommy. You are mommy who, because of a pandemic, now has to take these other roles. Stop beating yourself up. You're, again, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I have to have things in a certain way. And I'm like, we're going to do this homeschool thing and we're going to make it work. And I was stressing out about it. And I said, I'm not all these things. So I used to wear one hat, which was the mommy hat. And well, I'm also her best friend. So mommy and best friend, like, so there was a split there. And then I these other like 6 hats on, and it was a struggle. You can't do that. You can't expect yourself to fill all of these shoes. So if on a typical day, you get some ADLs, which are the life skills that we talk about, right? Um, if I teach her how to wash dishes, and that's the only thing that we do for the day, guess what? That's the only thing we're doing for that day.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
not want to do anything else. If I get her to brush her teeth, which I've been working with her on brushing her teeth every single day since we've been during this pandemic, and she can do it on her own now. That's something I couldn't do when I was rushing to go to work and get her to school. So I'm focusing on those things. A math paper, a math lesson, if we get it done, we get it done. But if she's able to eat her food and clear the table and wipe the table off, and she does that every night of the week without a pause, then I've won. So as a parent, look, it's okay to shift where your priorities are. The schoolwork will get done, but you're not everything. Don't put 17 hats on and think that you have to succeed, because you don't have to do that.
Right. No, and that's so. I say it all the time. We only control what we can, right? So
Yeah,
we're doing the best that we can, and our kids know that we're doing the best that we can. So, like you said, we definitely have to start beating ourselves up about that. Always.
mhm.
So,
My favorite, all I can do is all I can do.
that's
All I can do is
yes.
all I can do. That's it.
Absolutely. I just want to touch on the services because when people hear early intervention, I think they get scared, right? Especially families of color. It's really hard to get detected, to get early detection at an early age for the kids, and sometimes they'll miss out from the 0 to 3 years old if they could have been getting services
Right.
at an earlier time. And a lot of people, when they hear early intervention, they automatically assume that their child is going to have a diagnosis or that they're putting a label on their child. Can you just speak to that and why it's so important to just make sure that your child is getting everything that they need and not worry so much about the labels?
Of course. So I learned early on, guess what? Label equals services. So if you don't have a label, you will not get the services that you need. Now, my daughter being on the severe level, there was no question. I was waiting. I was like, I need this diagnosis because I know that this diagnosis means that we get all of these things that are going to help her. And unfortunately, in the Black community, we don't look at it. We don't look at it in that way. We look at it like it's a bad thing. Oh, it's nothing wrong with that baby. Oh, she won't talk. Oh, don't worry about that. This happens all the time. And our white counterparts, not so much our Hispanic and Blacks are usually on the same level when it comes to the lack of services and the lack of early diagnosis. Our white counterparts are up here when it comes to those things. And I don't think that it's a lack of care by the parent. I do think it's a cultural thing. It's definitely when I realized that something was going on with her and I told my family, dad, including her dad and my mom were like, oh, don't put a label on her. No, we're going to pray about this. We're going to get through this. Dad was like, oh, well, if you put a label on her, then that's going to follow her throughout her school life. And we don't want that. And I really had to sit them down and say, why don't you want that? Because if she has autism and we don't get that label, then we don't get the services. Her life is going to be hell. It's going to be even harder for us. So when it comes to that early intervention, get that label if that's what it takes. Get those services, because otherwise you are setting yourself up for a very hard life and you're setting your child up and it's not fair. It's the way I also look at it as, so say you cut yourself, right? And it's a deep gash. Oh my gosh, I gotta go to the hospital. I know I need stitches. Then you go to the hospital and they say, oh, ooh, deep gash, you need stitches. And then you say, you know what, I'm just going to put a Band-Aid on it. How is that helping you? It doesn't help you at all. It takes a lot longer to heal. It could get infected. So many things could happen with this deep gash that if you just let them put that do those stitches, then you can move on with your life. That's how I look at the services. They help your child, they help you, and it's necessary. So it's definitely something that you don't walk away from it. It's okay to grieve. I grieved when my child was diagnosed, but grieve and then get them services.
Absolutely. So tell us, if you could just give us 3 ways how you have created a new balance for you and your family. How do you cope on a day-to-day, especially with this pandemic going on, and making sure that you are staying, because I think we're doing so, we want to make sure that our families are okay, that our kids are okay. But what are you to do for yourself to make sure that you are that your cup is being filled so that you can continue to give it to your family?
So another quote that I love is, you can't pour from an empty cup. And before the pandemic, Mama took her time to get her nails done. Mama was getting her hair done. Mama was going to have drinks with friends. Mama was doing her thing. Mama doesn't do that no more. So 3 things that I do. Number 1, this pandemic has really given me some better habits, and it's shown me that I didn't have the best habits, not something that was, detrimental to me, but things that I was doing before when it was the hustle and bustle, the 9 to 5, things just were not the healthiest habits. So when I wake up in the morning, what I used to do, I would roll over and I would get on my phone and I would scroll social media, and I would do that for 15, 20 minutes before I even got out the bed and got into the shower. I don't do that anymore. What I do, as soon as I open my eyes, I close them again and I open my day with prayer or meditation. I ask for, just give me the strength to whatever this day brings me, because I have to still think about the well-being of my family, my husband and my girls. Just give me that strength. And I talk to God, and I wasn't doing that before. I was jumping on social media, then running to do my makeup, then running out the door, and my day was just running all day long. Then by the end of the night, I'm exhausted. So I start my day with prayer or meditation before I even come downstairs to my office. That's what I do. Another thing that I do is I incorporate, like I said, the wellness into our day. So no matter what my work schedule is and no matter what their school schedule is, at some point we're outside for an hour. If it's a rainy day, then we're doing some sort of physical activity for an hour. We find something on YouTube. I say, what do y'all want to learn today? Y'all want to do some Tai Chi? Let's do some Tai Chi. And my daughter laughed and said, we're not Asian. I said, we don't need to be Asian. We Blasian. And so we did Tai Chi. And they enjoyed that. And then they started looking forward to it. So we have we have a peace circle every day where we talk about, well, first we pray as a family after we eat breakfast. Then we go over to the floor in the living room and we have a peace circle, which is something that my 10-year-old had at school. So we brought it here because it made her transition easier. So we talk about our feelings, what's bothering us today, and what are we thankful for. That centers us no matter what's going on in the house. And look, we get on each other's nerves, okay? Everybody get on each other's nerves sometimes, but no matter what's going on that day, we can come together and we can talk about those things. So having that wellness incorporated, that's the second thing. And the third, I am a gym rat. So this is tough for me. Hold on. I'm a gym rat. I love getting into, I have a trainer, we work together. I'm competitive, so I'm in the gym, lifting next to the men like, oh yeah, you can't lift it. Like, I love it. And so the fact that I can no longer go to the gym, it's important for me to still have my physical activity as well. So again, after we do our 1 hour outside and we get dinner and everything, I let my husband know. We had a conversation. I said, I need that time. I need help. I need you to keep the kids so I can go and do my physical activity. So I go out and I do my running, or I go into the basement and I do some sort of class, but I'm still getting that sweat on. I'm still having that hour to myself where I'm working on me, because I ain't coming out of this 150 pounds heavier. So those are my three things. Like, okay. Like, look, we might not see swimsuit season this year, honey, but I'm gonna be ready for whenever we do. All right. Yeah. So those are my three things I do to keep myself grounded. I laugh when I see people say, oh, I miss my nail tech, I miss my hairstylist. And those people become our therapists, right? Like, as I'm getting my hair done, I'm talking. So I still text my stylist, I still text my nail tech, like, we still have relationship, but I cannot wait to the day when I can't see them again.
Yes, you and me both.
Yeah. As you see, I'm putting my hands down below because you don't want to see these nails.
Get myself together. I don't even want to talk about that. When I finally did, I stuck in the bathroom, I soaked my feet, painted my nails. I felt so much better. Oh my gosh. It's the little things. So Dekeda, tell us please where we can contact you. We didn't even get to talk about the organization, so that means that you're gonna have to come back and we're gonna have to talk more, but just tell us where we can contact you, and also your social media handles.
Of course. So my website is www.walkonedayinourshoes.com. That's the website. And then I'm on Facebook under the same name, walkonedayinourshoes.com. And Instagram is an acronym, so WODIOS. I am, just in a nutshell, my organization is dedicated to my daughter, and we serve the special needs community through social dance events. I hold talent shows for the special needs community. I'm a media correspondent with WJLA in DC, and I also go to businesses and schools and I train people on how to work with our community. So I train businesses and daycare centers and you name it. I go to churches and I just talk to people about how to interact properly and appropriately with our community. I'm on Twitter. So if you go to my website, on the first page at the bottom, you'll see all of my social media there. And basically, I share life raising a 15-year-old girl with nonverbal autism. And I always say autism is our life, but life is not autism for us. So we still have a good time. We still enjoy life. We are still a fun family, but you'll see all sorts of things on my social media as we share our journey.
Well, please tell Sneak that we said happy birthday, and
I will.
wish you all the best. Continue to stay safe and healthy.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the time. Thank you for giving me a reason to put a lip on today.
Of course. You see, I have my red lip. Yes, there has to be a reason for us to get dressed up, or there'll be no reason. And it'll be so thank you.
For the rest of the day.
Take care. So have a wonderful day.
Thank you, you too. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. You can catch a new episode of Balance every week right here on our YouTube page for Moms Make It Work. Make sure and hit that subscribe button and also subscribe to Balance, a new mindset for moms wherever you listen to podcasts. Continue to stay safe and healthy, and remember, no matter the circumstances, to always let your light shine. God bless.